You're not hitting your kid. You're hitting you. You know what really chaps my wiener? It's people thinking that now that they're the big man, now that they have children, that they're something special, that they're some highly respectable boss, some incredible leader, some god among men and women. Oh, God. You know you should be your child's very first friend, right? Think about it. The way you raise them in the home, the things you tell them to think about themselves, the reactions you get to the stimuli or to the personality of the child, the way you act is going to affect every relationship they're ever going to have. Think about it. If your own father doesn't think you're worth anything, why would you? Growing up in a house, you are what you are, right? You are what they say you are. You are what people tell you you are. You are what they make you. Until you're not. But it is important to connect the way you're treated in the home with the way you maintain friends, family relationships, romantic relationships, but more importantly, the relationship you have with yourself in the mirror. It all starts with how the people tell you to feel. I say, Mr. Be Still. Does that mean we don't have to punish our children for doing anything wrong? It doesn't sound like a right thing to do. Well, overly done accent and appropriated speak individual. That is not the case. You can punish people. It does not mean you have to be a dictator or an evil person to them. No way. My father beat me and I turned out just fine. Perhaps. However, you still hit your child. So did you realistically turn out fine? I have to say though, there is quite a big difference in between punishing a child and teaching them to be violent. If every time you are stimulated or overstimulated, you respond with anger and violence, it is only natural that you would create a child who responds with anger and violence. And then you get upset at them for not being perfect. What you're really doing is becoming upset at the child because they are expressing the problems that you recognize within yourself, that you could never correct, that you weren't man enough to handle. And instead of fixing it yourself, by so doing, letting that trickle-down economics affect your child, no, instead, you beat the you out of them. You're not hitting your kid. You're hitting you. You're hitting yourself square in the jaw, saying, I don't like you. Well, then don't create me. That's all I've got to say about that. If you want your child to exist in this world full of love and happiness, well, then that child needs to be given love and happiness. I will not sympathize with you if your child doesn't like you when they grow up. I will not feel bad for you if your kid doesn't want to speak to you for 5, 10, 15 years. I will not forgive you when their children, your children's children, don't like you. I won't. I'll forgive us. Those of us who didn't know what was happening. Those of us who didn't know better, but decided, I'm not going to grow up and continue this barbarism. For those of us, I forgive us. And I love us. And while we can still love these parents, they need to know the old world is dying. The geriatric-centric way of life is gone. Septuagenarians will no longer be running the ways of the world. No, it's the youth. Those of us who love enough to stand up and say, you know what? I took all that abuse because it made me better. But I will not allow it again. I will not allow racism, hate. I will not allow bigotry. I will not allow elitism. I will not allow you to ruin your children. But it's because I love both of you. I hope you can see what you put into the soil will cause the plant to grow. but it will grow good or it will grow bad. That plant's still the plant. It's going to be the plant, but without you, it has no hope. So do your job. I love you.